Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzuoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net. A new study by Ipsos, they asked financial advisors if they are adjusting retirement plans for the current economy. About 65% said yes, and many of them are actually using a strategy they have never used before. Brace yourself, folks. It is the A word of retirement. I'm talking about an annuity. So, Steve, what is it about an annuity that is so appealing to retirees today where maybe like 10 years ago, not so much?
Well, I'd like to say to these financial advisors, hey, where have you been, pal? You missed the boat. Annuities have been around longer than traditional investments have. So, first of all, they've stood the test of time. And secondly, I'm seeing larger firms running commercials about annuities. So that statement is true. Although this company, Ipsos, you think they might be able to get a better, catchier name there, Jess? I mean,
well, they didn't ask us, Steve, did they? If they had, we would have hooked them up. But.
Wow. Anyway, an annuity, in my opinion, is a foundation for any solid retirement income plan where people are looking for cash flow and income, and who isn't? So it's overlooked, unfortunately, because many people who advise, who are in this industry, do so to manage money. And they have a bias towards that, which is fine. We all have biases, Jess. My bias is towards income and safety. So I have that bias too, and I'm proud of it. I have no problem with it. My advice over the years has been consistent. It's always been, you need cash flow, you need income. I don't care what economy we're in. I don't care who's in office. I don't care what's going on. Everybody needs a steady paycheck. And that's why Social Security is so important to our retirees. It's so controversial with everything going on, but it's so important to people. And when pensions went away, it really created havoc among retirement planning. But not for people like me who said, hey, this is a no-brainer. We can replace those old-fashioned pensions with annuities that have stood, like I said, been around for over 100 years, Jess, and provide that guaranteed income for life and more safety for my clients who are obviously looking for that when they want income to come in consistently every month, like when they worked. So I do see a lot of commercials about annuities now, and it is refreshing because they do serve their purpose. It's like any other investment, Jess. Some of them are good. Some of them aren't as good. Matter of fact, I just had somebody I just spoke to literally yesterday who said to me, Steve, I'm with Fidelity, big company. I'm sure you heard of them. He said, I'm really not sure what to do. He goes, it's crazy out there. Everything we just talked about in the beginning of the show was what he was throwing at me. The uncertainty, what's going on. He goes, I don't want to lose money. I said, okay, that's something that I can help you with. He goes, but I'm not sure what to do. I said, I get it. That's fine. I said, let's take our time. Let's approach this methodically. We talked about what he owned, where it was. He did, in fact, have a couple of annuities, and he was okay with those. And then he had some money at Fidelity, but it wasn't in the market. It was in a money market fund earning like 3%, which is not the way to go for long-term planning with a retirement product. And he knows that, but he just needs some help. It's like I talk about every week. People just need some guidance, Jess. And I said to him, look, let me send you my information. You can check me out online. You can look me up on the website we have, and I'll be happy to send you a copy of my book, too, Tee Up Your Retirement. He goes, that would be fantastic, Steve. He goes, I just want to be comfortable. I want to work with someone who's been around. And I'm like, well, you're talking to him. So that went very well, obviously, and I look forward to working with him in the future. But there's a lot of that going on. But I'm very happy to hear that the annuity is now mentioned in a positive light and not in a negative light, because I think it's silly for anybody who's in my profession to automatically rule out something without even knowing the customer's needs and wants. Like, for example, a reverse mortgage is about as controversial a mortgage as you can obtain. And I hear people say, oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, that's terrible, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You don't know the customer's situation. If the customer owns a home and it's paid for and they don't have a lot of cash and the only check they have is Social Security, then they are house rich and cash poor. That's no way to go through retirement. When you've worked so hard, you've been in a home for 25, 30 years, you've paid all that mortgage over the years, and now you have a mortgage-free home. Why not let the home pay you for a change? And that's really what a reverse mortgage is. I mean, obviously there's a little more to it, but everybody's needs are different. Listen, the bottom line is I'm very happy to see that annuities are out there in a positive light. And if you want to learn more about why they're becoming even more popular, then give me a call, because I've been in that lane for nearly 40 years and know a lot about them and how to apply them to a situation. So if you're curious at all, give us a call. I'll be happy to talk to you about them. And I'll be happy to give you a copy of my book, too, Tee Up Your Retirement.
Absolutely. Yeah, that phone number, again, 508-552-3230. When you call in today and you want to do this income review, sit down with Steve one-on-one. You'll also get a copy of his book, Tee Up Your Retirement. And just a reminder, guys, retirement is about three things: income, income, and income. And then when you figure out, okay, how do I create income? Well, it's about that cash flow. How do I create cash flow? Well, maybe an annuity is a fit for you. You won't know until you come in for this income review. Again, 508-552-3230. That website, fairwayfinancial.net. There's another study, Steve. There's just studies all over the place here this
people
week.
Love studies, right?
All the place.
Probably nonprofits funded by somebody.
Well, this one's actually from a nationwide retirement institute. They did a study about recent retirees. It highlights a concern that we've seen before. About 55% say they regret how they saved, and they go back to the shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wish I did it sooner. I wish I did more.
Yeah.
That's very common, and that, of course, is not all the survey found. Here's Carrie Hannon on Yahoo Finance.
I think that what happens is, and what this study shows, is people who are getting nervous like this, especially these new retirees, they're actually starting to pay attention to their investment portfolios, which is fine on one hand, but they're making changes. And we all know that often might not be your best move, to go shifting things around just when things are a bit rocky.
So here's the deal. While change obviously can be good, I think you have to be cautious of this, especially if you're in that pre-retirement stage, maybe even early retirement. You don't want to start making emotional portfolio changes, right, Steve?
Oh, my gosh. Is that 100% accurate? Retirement planning, investment planning, and emotions don't go well together. Leave your emotions on the table and come and bring the logical speech, because you got to look at retirement as a long-term plan. And there's going to be rocky roads in between. Like, for example, that other person I was talking about who called in, he was like, he goes, I feel like I missed the boat. He goes, 08, he goes, I got hurt, so I got out. I didn't get back in until 2022. And, of course, he got hurt again. So what's going on there is the yo-yo effect. And you're looking at when something becomes popular, social media eats it up. And it's thrown all over the place. Unfortunately, by the time it gets thrown all over the place, it's already made most of its money. And so you get people, especially the do-it-yourselfers who don't have a coach with them, they jump in because they're reading about it. But most of the gains have already been made. So you get that roller coaster. There's an old saying, it's been around forever. You buy low and you sell high. I mean, everybody's heard of it and they all know it. So why don't they do it? Because we're emotional beings. So when we first buy in and it goes up, we pat ourselves on the back and we say, look how awesome we are. This is great. And we usually end up buying more and more, right? Instead of maybe selling when it's high. But when it goes down and it starts to crash down, the first reaction is a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, no, I better get out before I lose all of it. And I hear this so often when it comes to this. And that's why you need a steady hand to guide you on that retirement journey you're taking, so that you can have a plan. You put the plan in writing. So whenever you get subconscious about what's going on, you refer to the plan. You don't take action. You look at the numbers. You say, oh, here's why Steve put me here. Here's why the money's in the income bucket. Here's why it's in the inflation hedge. Here's why we have an emergency bucket. And here's our fun bucket, your favorite, Jess. So
that's my favorite.
Listen, you need to assign a purpose for money, literally. Like, your money is your partner when you retire. It is your future paycheck. You cannot retire unless you have a future paycheck. And unfortunately for most people, the only future paycheck they have is Social Security. And while that might be okay in some states, up in New England, it's not going to cut it. So we need to have a better plan than hope and prayer. And it's okay to have some money in hope and prayer because that's how you got to where you are. Don't get me wrong. And while you were working, you didn't need it. You weren't worried about it, and your hands weren't out wrapping the money hard. But as you get near that retirement line, all of a sudden, you start watching it more. You get nervous. If there's a blip, you react. That's why coaching is so important. And what I bring to the table and have been doing so for many, many years is that steady hand, that steady guide, that ability to sit and chat with you about what's important, what you're going to need in retirement, and let's put together a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, you got nothing. You just got a pile of money.
You got a plan to fail. You got that.
Thank you. Yes, Jess, that's exactly correct.
Yeah, we want to help you avoid that. I mean, again, this is why, Steve, we do the show each and every single week, again, with decades of experience here. Steve's somebody that's seen the market up. He's seen the market down. He has helped individuals just like you listening literally for decades. So if you are seeing yourself starting to make some emotional decisions based on what you are seeing or hearing or feeling, press the pause button, call Steve and say, hey, man, I'm trying to make sure I'm making the right decision. I don't screw this whole retirement thing up. That's what we want to do. Save you from yourself, essentially.
Right.
And this all comes in as part of that full-blown retirement plan. Let's look at that portfolio. Let's see exactly what you're working with. What do you need to do? What gaps are there? That's where Steve comes in. Again, this is complimentary, this full-blown retirement plan, 508-552-3230. A lot of folks out there are saying, I'll just work a few extra years to make retirement easier. But again, there's another survey here by the Employee Benefit Research Institute that found that plan often just gets blown up by real life. Turns out nearly half of the people who retired in 2025 said that they actually retired earlier than expected. 76% of those early retirements were due to things out of their control. Things like health issues, maybe you were laid off and forced into retirement. Maybe you had to be a caregiver for a family member, those type of things. So what are some of the moves that these folks can consider now so they can protect their income, Steve?
I personally like working as long as you can because it gives you purpose, gets you up in the morning. A lot of my clients who are retired aren't really fully retired. They're doing something, whether it's volunteering or staying active. And I think it's important. And for example, my plan is to not retire. I'm going to work until...
That's your plan today, right?
Yeah, I'm going to work until my brain says otherwise. So,
okay, gotcha.
Hopefully that's not, that's going to be way into my late 70s. Who knows? But that's my plan. And everyone's plan is different. And my job is to help people figure out their plan, help them get there, and also to have a social plan. And what I mean by that is, what are you going to do with all this time? If you were working 40 hours, what are you going to do with those hours now? You can't sit around the couch all day. That's not a good call.
Get more details on the website, fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzuoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzuoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzuoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzuoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.